Number one is Turdak here. So Turdak is a super cool unit. Does something that no one else does. You're going to see that as a common theme in a lot of these demons. So if we look at Turdak here, his innate skill is Helmsman. Helmsman greatly raises accuracy for the ally that acts after the user, and lowers the chance of missing if they are afflicted by Mirage. I don't get afflicted with Mirage that much. I guarantee it'll come up and it'll happen. It'll be relevant. Will he be in my party when that happens? I don't know. But that first part greatly raises accuracy for the ally that acts after the user. This is super good. So there's two types of abilities it's really good for. You're going to look for something like a demon here. You're going to want to follow it up with something like this, right? A physical attack 4 times on one foe, but low accuracy. Suddenly, it's not so low accuracy anymore. Now you greatly increase your accuracy. You're pretty much likely to land this ability, because missing in this game is brutal. It's very, very, very brutal. You don't just miss your damage. You miss your damage, and you miss potentially 2 additional turns of damage as well. I mean, it really screws you up. You don't want to miss in this game. So this is a way to negate that. But where it's even more useful, most of the time, I'm probably not going to end up using it in that many boss fights, but you could. But like, this could be going to this character could pretty much always be in your party, and it's going to be crazy. But with AoE, this is where this is probably the most important. So let's say you're fighting 4 of an enemy, right? And it's all the same. It's a simple comp. They're all weak to, I don't know, force, right? You're doing an AoE force attack. There's 4 of them. You hit them all, you attack them, weak to force, weak to force, weak to force, and then you miss the 4th one, any one of the 4. Instead of getting your icon to glow blue and getting your turn, you don't get the blue icon. You miss that turn that would turn blue, instead explodes because you miss an attack, and you explode a second icon because you miss an attack. So AoE is incredibly risky in this game. It usually is worth it anyway because you don't frequently miss, but if you miss when you don't want to on even 1 of 4 targets, the game's like, you just lost 2 turns, right? You just lost 2 turns of shit. So it's brutal. So this is so nice to have. If you're out in the open world, you're just farming a bunch of stuff, you're fighting a bunch of enemies, and you have you're going to do 10 combats in a row, you're using a lot of AoE, this will ensure that you essentially never miss on your big damage dealers. So very, very good ability. Also lets you use much more risky abilities, also lets you attack through Mirage. It's just a badass innate skill. Also, secondary thing, not the main reason I love Turdak, but the secondary thing, he does come with a recarb, which is good. You already want him in your party, and now he's able to revive people, right? Just, it's not an incredibly rare ability, but it is uncommon. Most things don't have this, so it is nice just to have it on a character like this that you're primarily going to be building as a supporty, weakness, abusing type character. Like, he's probably just going to have 4 different abilities or different elements, so the character after him can focus on dealing more crazy damage. Very, very cool character. Love Turdak. On the topic of recarb, we're going to jump into Angel. So Angel is a pretty good character overall. But as far as the utility, they're almost like, they're a very meta unit in my opinion. And not meta as in good, but meta as in like my real life is slightly better when I have this unit. So they have recarb as well. Which is fine. Again, not super rare, but it is nice to have. But they also have Humble Blessing, right? Slight HP recovery to all allies. And it's unique. Only they have it at this stage of the game. I know you'll get other healing later. This is very, very early to get this ability. And they have Blessed Melody. So when you're dealing increased damage when attacking with light weaknesses, and they have some pretty good light damage. I mean, it's just normal light, but there's not that much light early on. High magic. Overall, great combat character, right? This is a character that goes in your party for combat. Absolutely. AoE heal is good. But why they're more in my utility list as opposed to my boss fighting list is that this makes auto heal, the button auto heal, just work, right? If you have this character with Humble Blessing and Recarm and Patra or whatever, you don't even need that one. But you just have them in your stock, not even in your party. And anytime you want, you just hit, boom, like right bumper. You just heal everyone up to full HP, revive all your dead guys, heal everyone up to full, and then you're done, right? It's really annoying in the early game when you have to, like, I don't have a revive. I got to run back to the ley line. I got to pay for the heal, or I got to use one of my limited healing items, and then I got to run back to where I was or kind of trying to explore. This just makes it so it always works. You don't have to worry about it. And then you could always switch this character in and heal them in combat. If you have a character that's almost dead, you could switch them out, put Angel in, keep everyone else topped off after combat, heal up the other character, right? So very good for sustain, very good just for making my life better in terms of the button working. And also Angel is one of the stronger combat characters in the early game IMO. Number 3 is the haunted evil tarantula spider that lives in my nightmares. Although he does have pretty awesome hair that I'm kind of going for myself here. Honestly, a little bit of a resemblance there if I'm being completely honest. But I might sound like a meme, but I actually think Forager in the early game is very good. While in the active party, the time before relics can be collected again will be shortened. So you're not going to probably use this guy for boss fights a lot of times. You probably want a better innate skill, but that's not like he's trash, right? He actually has like pretty good HP and stuff, right? He has more HP than most everybody around this level, right? If you're looking at his HP is actually pretty great. So he's probably good in boss fights, but that's not the main thing I have him. When I'm basically out of money and I'm going to go around looking for relics, I don't know exactly how much shorter this makes it, but I could kind of feel a difference, right? And so you're running around. He's got good AoE attacks. He doesn't have the highest magic stat, but he does have an AoE lightning attack pretty early to get it. Not the earliest, but it is pretty early. And then he's got some good physical attacks for single target as well. But really, you kind of just build him however you want. Put whatever you want on there. He's mostly here. You're just running around. Relic, 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 relic. Go back around. Relic, 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 relic. Get a bunch of money. Why is money so important? In the early game, it could be very, very hard to come by. Just healing your party can be very expensive. Buying a bunch of spy glasses, buying all the dampeners, buying the damage gems, buying healing items, that can all be very expensive. But that's not really what breaks the bank. What really breaks the bank is trying to summon more and more and new demons. If you're trying to summon a lot of demons or make specific party builds, because, I don't know, maybe you're trying to make a guide for a YouTube video, or maybe you're just trying to experiment because you have it fun, it's a huge drain on money. So if you get Forager, your money runs go away faster. And I've noticed it. I've liked it. Again, this is a utility focused choice. This is not like, this is the best demon in the game kind of option. But I have noticed when I'm running around on the open field, I have this character in my party. I just end up making a bit more money a little bit more frequently. And that's kind of really nice in the early game. Number 4 is the elementals. It doesn't matter which one. I recommend Eros simply from he's the earliest one you can get at level 12. Now, I know that there's Earthus down here at level 9. Earthus is a lower level, but it's kind of weird. It's you need to be a higher level in order to fuse him, because he fuses him. It's like a level 7 and like a level 13 or like a level 14 guy fused together to make Earthus, right? So even though Earthus is a lower level at level 9, you actually need to be a higher level in order to get the 2 monsters that fuse in to make him, right? So the first one is Eros, but it really doesn't matter which one of these you get. All the elementals are going to fulfill this role exactly the same. Now, when you first look at any of the elementals, they just look like combat units. They have great combat abilities, so they're all pretty similar here. Very high magic stat, They have force enhancer, so everyone in the party is gonna, or whatever enhancer. They got the X enhancer. It's gonna bring everyone in the party up to +3. Again, this is early game +3. That's pretty good. That's higher than most characters have. So most characters are gonna, even if they're +2 and they're good at it, they're gonna get a bump. And then characters that are terrible at it are just gonna become tied for the best. And then they get an AoE attack here. But this is still not utility, right? This is like, yes, this is a good combat unit. Nothing stand out as amazing. It's pretty good when you're going around just farming shit, killing shit, and you're trying to get from point A to point B. Has great AoE, right? Pairs really well with the Turdak. But what really stands apart is if you get 10 mini-men, you unlock their second overdrive gauge attack here. This is the Luck Megatushi. I'm going to call it Megatushi. It's Megatsuhi, but Megatushi I think sounds funnier. XP and Maka greatly increased if the battle ends on this turn. So you have to use it the turn you're ending, but this is just so good. It doesn't help you win any fights. And in fact, it might make you lose some fights if you're not careful with it. But you could use this on the floaty guys that you see around. You see like the teardrop guys, they give you a bunch of resources. Use it on, use a spyglass, expose their weakness, make sure you can actually kill them, and then use this and then kill them, and then you get just a big chunk of rewards. You get more rewards than you would have gotten. Use it on boss fights. Once the boss is really close to dead, you could use this if you have it up, and then suddenly, boom, you're going to get a really big boost from the boss fight. Use it while when you're just running around, again, from point A to point B, you're just exploring a new area, you're looking for new demons, you're just going around collecting money, you're doing side quests, and you're just kind of looking around. If you're just killing stuff every now and then, eventually this will fill up. And when this fills up, just use it. Get some extra resources from that fight. It will make you get more money and more experience and help you level up lower level demons even faster. It's just a great ability to have. The fact that this guy is also just really good in combat, at least at this stage of the game, is just bonus. You know, that's the icing on the cake. Number 5 is the one that borderlines, it is kind of going to bridge my 2 videos together. One's going to be more combat focused, what's really good against bosses, and then this one is going to be like what's good in utility, right? This one is kind of the bridge. This one is kind of in both situations. So this character is Palade, something like that. Very powerful character in several ways. Pretty average character in several ways, what I mean. Deathly Affliction, don't get me wrong. Deathly Affliction is very good. While in active party, raises all allies' accuracy and critical rate against foes that have ailments. Now, there is a problem. Most bosses are resistant to most ailments. So this is not typically going to be super good in a lot of boss fights, but maybe you get lucky and it's pretty good. Deathly Affliction is good. He's got some good coverage here, right? I mean, this is like fine. You can get coverage on anything you want. His skill potential is okay. It's nothing special. And Deathly Affliction, even though it's good, like Slime has it. It's not unique, right? It's not something that only he has. But what makes him so good, Entangling Tendrils. Entangling Tendrils is a crazy good ability. It is unique to him, meaning no other character can ever get it. And I'm sure there's other versions of this kind of ability that are better, but this is the early game, and this is crazy good. Chance of inflicting seal on all foes lowers attack by 1 rank for 3 turns. So, chance of inflicting seal on all foes. This is not the prime reason why. There's 3 main reasons we're using this ability. Okay. Inflicting seal is probably the least important reason why we're using this ability, but let's just say it is not uncommon for this to actually work. Even if something's resistant to it, it can still work. As long as they're not immune, it can work. And seal is an OP condition. They cannot use any skills. They can only use the attack command. So sometimes most enemies will just completely miss their turn. They'll just be like, I can't do anything. They'll stand there. Even bosses that normally have like these really powerful attacks, they'll just attack something, right? So instead of doing like their AoE, very powerful. It doesn't normally land, but it will definitely land sometimes. You'll notice it. When it does land, you'll be able to use Deathly Affliction, which is good. The main reason we're using this is it lowers attack by 1 rank for 3 turns. So I kind of know what you're thinking. Like, right, there's other abilities. This ability lowers attack by 1 for 3 turns. The third reason we're using this is it hits everybody. This is an AoE. It targets no matter if you're fighting 4 guys, 10 guys. It's not even possible, but it will hit them all. So this is so good because you get to use this to lower an attack while also attempting at the same time to do something incredibly OP and sealing the enemy. You don't want to spend a turn attempting to afflict a status ailment that might do nothing and you just waste your turn. If you spend your turn trying to do something OP, like basically make the enemy skip their turn, but the downside is you miss, now you just lower their attack. So you're still increasing the survivability of their team. You're still making it so their turn is way less good. Because if you do this twice in a turn, they're down 2 ranks. Suddenly, like, they're just not going to be killing your guys unless you're really low on life or underprepared or something, right? So lowering attack ranks is a really, really big deal, at least in the early game, in my experience. This ability has been absolutely clutch and insanely overpowered. It is 21 MP. That is a shit ton of MP at this stage of the game. But I'm telling you, this just means you could always have this character in your party. You could always just have a chance to have enemies skip their turns. It kind of makes every combat encounter easier when you have it. You don't need to know an enemy's weakness to try to inflict seal and make them weaker. This is just like a boom. You guys are much worse at combat or you don't do anything now. Super powerful demon. It is kind of, again, like I said, borderline utility. It's utility in the sense that you can always have it. It makes every fight easier and you don't really have to think about it. but it's also getting closer to that really powerful combat thing. There's no doubt. But anyway, that's this video. Those are the 5 demons that I want to make sure you don't skip. They are my 5 top utility demons for the early game. Want to give a shout out, boom, to my members and my supporters. Thank you very much. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. Much love. See you guys in the next video. Bye.